he was singing like his rent was due.
He ain't have
Like he got his 30-day eviction notice, and it was the last day.
It was the last day. This was it. Like
he was singing for his rent money.
Jesus had to make a personal deposit in that bank account for him to not lose his home. That's how it felt.
Hello, welcome to the Pitchy Podcast. We are your hosts, James
and Stephanie.
Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we are passionate about good music and a great vocal. We use the vehicle of NBC's The Voice to give you our take and our feedback on each contestant. What we will never do is come for any contestant as a person, human being, or anything that they've done personally, but there are times we do come off a little pitchy. Just a little bit pitchy. Even in 2025, we just got to be a little bit more pitchy.
Ooh.
But if you know what I mean. But we'll always use in this platform to speak our truths with love, kindness, and respect. First. Love, kindness, and respect. Remember that. First. And with that, we are now down to our final episode of our look backs. Peeking back into season 26, where Sofronio Vasquez did take the championship of season 26. And we had a lot of performances to condense down to 5, plus an honorable mention for the lives, because this is where it all happened. This is where the magic happened. This is what separated the wheat from the terry. Did I say that right? Yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. I'll make things up. Call me on it if I didn't. As always, you all, we first of all want to thank all of our loyal Patreon listeners or watchers. Thank you so much for supporting us. We don't take it lightly. We do that bonus content just for you. We do those early releases just for you. And we just love and thank you all from the bottom of the Pitchy Podcast heart. Because guess what, you all? It is the penultimate day before we start our next season.
Yes, it is.
We got to get in where we can fit it in as far as stuff goes. So you all are going to be seeing, actually, just to give you all a heads up, Patreon and all, you're going to be seeing a little bit less of me for the beginning of the season because I do have some artistic obligations.
Come on.
that I am obliged to, but you all are in more than capable, amazing hands of my with my partner in crime, and I will be here and there giving my little quick, colorful commentary.
Yes.
And if Stephanie convinces me to, I'll even throw a little extra commentary in for you Patreon listeners because you all are just so awesome.
Well, what we might do is release a little bit of your content in the main feed and give the full content to our Patreons. We'll have to talk about that.
Real pitchy, Stephanie?
Oh, you can be as pitchy as you want in Patreon. We will always, and just to let y'all know, we are never mean in Patreon, ever. What we tend to do, though, is be a little bit more real because we feel like anybody that is a part of our Patreon community really knows James and I, has a good understanding of who we are as human beings. And our intention and our heart. So we feel like we can be a little bit more free there because we know the people there know us the best and know our intentions and know our heart.
And as a t-shirt I saw a few years ago that just so summed up so many of us, we might be saved, but we cuss a little bit.
Oh, just a bit.
A little. I mean, Stephanie's from Jersey. I mean,
he's still working. He's still working on me, y'all. He working hard.
But we throw these hands. I'm not afraid to throw the hands. But we do come in peace, love, and soul. Oh no, that's Soul Train. Okay.
That's Soul Train.
All right. So without further ado, let's jump right in. There was a lot to choose from. I'm going to save a little bit of colorful commentary, but I'm just going to give our everybody listeners, as I like to call them, just one sentence, and then you need to subscribe to the Patreon to hear the rest of why I'm saying what I'm saying. I did not have a problem with selecting my 5 at all.
He ain't had no problem.
Nope. Stephanie,
no trouble.
That's the only question or that's the only thing that kind of I preempted Stephanie before we got on. You know, I told her, I was like, I didn't have any trouble, and I want to talk about why I didn't have any trouble. But you got to tune into Patreon to get that. So Stephanie said this one took her a minute.
It did.
So,
took me a minute.
I'll jump us off, Steph. I need to be sure to not start with my honorable mention because that's the one we saved for our Patreon.
That's right.
Number 5, I'm coming in with a very, very powerful performance, and it just goes up from there, you all. Sydney Sterlace, When the Party's Over, Billie Eilish.
Quiet when I'm coming home and I'm on my own. I can lie, say I like it like that, like it like that. And I can lie, say I like it like that, like it like that.
Yeah. I didn't know about this at first. This is the one, you all know that have been watching us for the last several seasons. Stephanie's got to help me out on some artists, some contestants, and some offerings. Because at first I'm like, no, I don't want to hear it. I'm like a kid. I'm like, no. Because like this is a hallowed ground song for me.
Yes, it is.
This was our introduction to Miss Eilish. And the song is it's a very emotional song. It moves emotionally. So Stephanie said, oh, no, James. If y'all remember the episode, I was like, I don't know, Steph. And she's like, go back and put in your good ears. You got to do it. You got to do it. And when I put it in my good ears, it was astonishing.
Mm-hmm.
Because number one, I'm like, no. She can't be in high school. She can't.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and the best word, I don't know if this is a word, but it typed it out when I dictated it because I didn't know how to spell it. The delicateness that song needs, Sydney was immediately tuned into it. Don't you know I'm no good for you? Now, you see, that's easy for me to sing. But see, that's in the for Stephanie, right? That's that alto, right? And Stephanie's like, oh, yeah, all day. I can live down there all day. But there are a lot of singers can't, right? And if they do, it kind of is like it's not tonal. It's not pretty.
Oh, I love that. I love that word, tonal.
Yeah, it's not the tonality. If I'm getting too technical or meticulous, y'all let me know. But the tonality, and here's how I relate it, you all, because she doesn't stay down there. The song does not stay down there. It walks up, right? That's what is so difficult about this song. Because you start in your low chest voice, and then you walk it up from your lower register all the way up to the head voice. And she did it masterfully. Okay?
Sure did.
I said, and the thing that made it so fantastic is Sydney used the same intensity with her lower register as she did with her upper extension. And again, if I'm getting too technical, you can send me a little DM or send us a DM and I can explain to y'all what I'm talking about. And another thing, Stephanie, that Billie, sometimes I lose with Billie Eilish, even though she's brilliant and she's the only one that can get away with it because it's her and Phineas' songs, right? Is sometimes Billie has the Toni Braxton effect where I'm just like, what did she say?
Right. Very loose with the lips. Yeah.
Exactly. And what I loved, and now stylistically, it works 100% with Billie. But what I loved is I actually got the words to every I got every word of this song when Sydney sang it.
Come
Every
on,
word.
articulation.
The articulation, as Stephanie so eloquently spoke to. And I actually caught more words from her rendition than Billy's, believe
Come
it or
on.
not.
Yeah.
I said, and I don't know if I noticed this before, and I can't remember if I said something about it before. Did you notice how she kind of put like a country twang to
A
it?
little bit.
It was like, I was like, no. Oh, maybe. And the thing is, if it gets you thinking, that means there's probably some intentionality with it, but it's a very subtle intentionality. And that's what I loved. I was like, she's how's she coming up with all this? Like she's so young.
Right.
I said, the only thing that was distracting for me was that weird pseudo ballet dancers around her. I was like, what is going on? I don't know what that was. That was the only thing that distracted me. I said, great job from the team. I mean, great job. She deserved to be a finalist from that performance.
Yes,
she made her stamp. Now, she made her stamp in previous rounds, but this is where in the live she won, where she was like, I'm going to the finale. That's the stamp. That's the stamp noise. All right. That's my number 5. What you think, Steph?
I love that song and I love that performance.
Yeah.
I will tell you, it did not make my list. I'm gonna tell you about my list because I found as I was making this list how I had been thinking about previous lists. And it was like, okay, you need to put this person on and you need to put this person on. And though I agreed with my own choosing, I think looking back, there might have been some switches and some differences that I might have made just because I was being very, 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 this is a very selfish list.
Good for you.
This is a very selfish list. So everything on my list is a performance that I thought was like in my own opinion, completely worthy of being on my top 5, and also it just completely impacted me in some way. So there's a little bit of that.
Stephanie, for a second. I'm gonna let y'all in a little personal without getting too personal. And Stephanie has every right to be selfish because she's got 2 young children that doesn't allow her to be selfish most days. So, Stephanie,
I could be selfish on my list. I'm gonna do me on my list. That's what I said. I'm gonna do me on my list.
I got 2 young children who don't allow me to be selfish.
That's right. I'm gonna be selfish. And so this is a list where I would not say necessarily fight me on this choice, fight me on that choice, because there are so many performances that I could have put on this list, including Sydney's. Like she was on my short list. But when I got down to it, I was like, I'm making this list for me. This is my top 5. So in keeping with that, I'm going to go ahead and give you my number 5. So my number 5 was Danny Joseph, I Was Wrong, Chris Stapleton. Listening to this bag, the very beginning of the song before it even starts, and it's not even Danny playing, but it's another instrumentalist from the band that's playing the opening electric guitar line. And from there, I was just like, hallelujah. And this ain't even no hallelujah song, but just the way it opened, it was just like I was triggered in the best way because James knows I love give me some live music all day, every day. Like, and everything on The Voice is live. However, like there was just something about that intro that I was like, oh, just triggered again. This was real, incredible rock music. Like that's what it felt like. And we don't get a lot of this on NBC's The Voice. I hope we get more. This performance was a true bona fide duet between Danny and his electric guitar. Like, so much so that there was a portion of the performance where he did an electric guitar solo, which is something, especially in lives, I do not remember seeing an artist, even if they play acoustic guitar.
I think the only time Jamar, I think, was the only other.
Maybe, but not for as long as Danny did. The length of it was just so substantial that I can remember thinking in real time, like, dude, you're taking this long to play your electric guitar in this performance. And then I was like, of course you are, because that's what you do. And what's so brilliant is that, you know, his electric guitar playing is just as skilled as his singing. Now, this was the perfect song choice for his voice because he just gives you holleration. He gives you runs. He gives you this bluesy deliciousness feel. He gives you this grit. Like there's just like this layer or filter of just grit that is on Danny's voice at all times. It's that old. Of all of his live performances, this was the one where I was like, dude, you sang that ish down. Like if there was a portfolio of Danny's performances from this competition, this one needs to be first, followed by It's a Man's World with Dion. You know what I mean? Like I just felt like this
was discussion words.
Hey. I just felt like if
but I see.
The only reason why I don't flip it is because if he's just talking about himself as a solo artist, I want him to show something solo first. I think that this performance for me was the one that showed like, if I'm going to a Danny concert, this is what I'm going to get. And this is what I want to get from him. After that performance, he should not have had a voice. I felt like that chorus was so full of holleration and desperation, and he just told the story of the song that the way he sings with all the grit and gravel that's in his voice felt like he should not have had a voice at the end of that song. And I loved it. I loved that because it just felt like he left everything on the stage. So that is my number 5. Danny Joseph, I Was Wrong. Chris Stapleton.
I loved it, and it's a travesty. Danny did not make my list, which is a travesty. Mm-hmm. But I just, I'll explain why. Some people did not make my list. Okay. But I love it. This was his song.
Yes, it was.
This was his moment.
Yes, it was.
Higher competition other than the battle.
Yes.
It was fire. It was fire. Yes. It's Chris. So you got to shred first.
Right.
So Chris will tell you he's a guitarist before he's a vocalist.
Yes.
And us vocalists are looking at him like, don't say that because you will lie.
Right.
Danny is like Chris, as equal a shredder as he is insane vocalist.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
Okay, who is your number 4?
Okay, so my number 4 was Jan Dan with Open Arms by Journey. That's all I can say.
I mean, what are you going to say? This was live, y'all.
LIVE.
Live.
Let's in case we did not make that clear, I think we did say that we were doing the best of the lives, but this is LIVE live.
Right. And it's Steve Perry.
This is Journey, y'all. This is one of the songs. Okay? This is the song. Again, James, what he did, which you love in particular, I love as well, but you noted most, is first verse, first chorus, very classic, very much keeping to the melody, straight up vocal, little bit of character and inflection at the ends of lines, but very much we can sing along to it, right? At the end of those phrases, though, you could hear a little mix of rock inflection. You could hear a little mix of gospel, R&B influence as well. Get to the second verse, and it was like, come on, Choice. The
Right.
choices that he was making that were so effortless. Again, I heard R&B influences. I heard pop influences. I heard gospel influences within it. And it was just like, oh, what you gonna do next? Oh, what you gonna do next? And it, oh, 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 it was just so good because it wasn't taking me out of the song. And that's what I think is so masterful. When we talk about Come On Choice, it's like, I would have never thought to do that, but it fits so well within the song and it's so creative. It doesn't take me out of the song. It just enhances the song for me, right? This song is a big song, as we already stated. He commanded this song, which is so surprising if we think about Jan Dan in prior rounds, how he was kind of not on our radar. So tell me that in 2 or 3 weeks or in 2 or 3 rounds, he was going to sing Open Arms, and I would have been like, y'all sure? Y'all sure? And then this man gets on the stage and sings the song down, and it's like, oh my goodness. And we get to the second chorus, and that was again, Come On Choices. It like he just so perfectly personalized this song to the way he wanted to sing it, that his melodic changes were just genius. They were just genius. And not only that, they sounded so fresh. It sounded like he could release the song tomorrow, and it was just a joy to listen to.
Your point right there, I need to expound upon what Stephanie just said. Fresh. Nobody sounded like Jan Dan, and no one in the industry sounds like Jan Dan.
No.
He's one of those voices, you all, and you don't get these voices too often. The second somebody starts singing, you know who's singing.
Yeah.
It's very, very. There's a short list.
Yes.
And they're the greats.
Yes.
That the second you hear them singing, like if you take, I'm going to date myself. If you take a song like "We Are the World," and if you're not familiar with it, go check it out. It was a snapshot in history in the early to mid '80s, where basically the who's who of popular music recorded one song, and every time a new singer came on, you knew exactly who was singing.
You knew who it was, exactly.
Like in 2 seconds.
Yep.
And that's what Jan Dan reminds me of. Like his voice was so unique, but it was so gorgeous. It was a gorgeous voice.
Oh, gorgeous voice. Yes. Yes. Yeah. He's my number 4.
Great choice. Great choice for number 4. Okay. So my number 4 is Jeremy, Mr. Broadway himself, Jeremy Beloate, What the World Needs Now. Now, it's interesting because this is a very popular song from the 60s. And I don't know. I saw the name of whose version he was singing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I didn't recognize the artist.
Right.
I think Burt Bacharach wrote this song.
Is that who they said it was?
No. I'm trying to think of the original.
Okay.
I mean, Dionne Warwick did the original of this song,
right?
And I need to look it up. I'm pretty sure Burt Bacharach. Actually, I'm sorry, Jackie DeShannon, who's the artist that they named, originally sang this song.
Okay.
I did not know that. In 1965.
Okay.
You learn something.
Yep.
Every
More
day.
You learn.
Yes, and how David and Burt Bacharach did write the song, and that's why, because Dionne Warwick was Burt Bacharach's muse.
Yes.
So that's why the song became very popular with her. Anyway, where are my notes? Okay, I said I'm gonna jump around a bit. I was like sitting there listening because Jeremy just has a voice you can listen to.
Yes.
And then I said, how you gonna come in on the second verse with that falsettos? I put with an S, falsettos.
Not with them falsettos.
I said, that Chris Stapleton's Super Bowl reminder that his upper extension is just as good as the previous other contestants who lived in the stratosphere.
Yeah.
The male identifying contestants who lived in the upper register falsetto, right? Jeremy said, let me remind you, but not give you too much, that I can live up there too. But I don't have to because I have a very dramatic voice.
Yes.
I said, he gave it to us so easy. I said, I felt like he really took his time with this song.
Yeah.
Like, it was like he was making these choices that really, and he gave it to us easy. This song, I mean, we've heard countless renditions of this song over the years, Stephanie.
Yes.
And what do people usually do with this song, Stephanie? They turn it into like a holleration towards the back half of this song. Like people like usually holler this song. And if you go back to the original, Dion and Jackie sang it real easy.
Yeah.
And that's what Jeremy did. Everyone knows Jeremy had holleration in his voice, but he, like Jose Luis did.
Yes.
He was like, I got a big voice, but I can also give you range.
Yes.
And as someone who has a big voice myself, it's very difficult for us to give you range because we're always going to blow you over.
Yeah.
But we also, what I've learned as I've matured as a singer is how to pull it back. And have people be like, oh. And that's what I felt like Jeremy did.
That's right.
I said, I'm gonna let you have that dynamic soft falsetto.
Come on.
I said, and I loved it. I loved every moment of it. Now, again, this is when the performances get a little distracting because you had everybody in their Asher hats, as I like to call this. And I was like, okay, what's going on? But Jeremy is so commanding, and I'm sure this is just musical theater background. He's so commanding on stage that I was riveted by his performance because this is a song where, again, it has such a distinct known melody.
Yeah.
You got to be very careful with songs like this.
Yeah.
And again, and the best word I can use to describe how Jeremy handled it is it's like he took his time with it. It was very easy. But then when he just soared up there, I was like, yo, his falsetto is so strong.
Yeah.
Like I forgot how strong his falsetto was. So I had to put Jeremy on my list because that's live singing, y'all. Because let me tell you, when you're tired, fatigued, or need to be on vocal rest, the first thing that goes is your falsetto.
Your falsetto.
If you're a male singer.
That's right.
First thing to go. And
that's right.
He softly hollered.
Yes, he did.
All right,
yes, he did. All right.
Okay.
So give us your number. Yep. Give us your number three.
I cheated.
Okay.
My number 3 is Jan Dan, All the Lives. All the lives. All of them. Because I didn't want him to hold up more than one spot. Because Stephanie and I both know that he could have. And he may have for Stephanie. But I was like, so let me cheat. Let me do something a little different. And
he said Jan Dan. All of them.
All the lives.
All of them.
All of them. Y'all, and I wrote a little bit, so y'all stick with me. I said, Return of Slick. Return of Slick. I said, Jan Dan was really trying to take the competition from everyone when we got to Lies. Like, I said, especially the front runners. He came for every contestant on this show. Y'all, he laid it down.
Down.
I said, this is the contestant who I come back to the most of
Mm-hmm.
all the lives.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's like I hate it when somebody gives such good multiple performances during a certain section. Like I have to. It's not that I have to put them lower on the list. It's just I can't pick, right?
Right.
Well, that's why I just like I gotta cheat.
He's like,
Hold on. It's for Dan because he didn't go. He didn't get to sing that much, y'all.
Right.
He really didn't. I think he only
Right.
sang it twice. I said, just a chill, effortless instrument in that voice of his.
Mm-hmm.
I said, no one had the tone and the originality, vocal originality that Jan Dan had.
That's right.
Over the entire contestants, over all of the contestants on the season.
Right.
I said, what I loved about him, I said, in my opinion, that he didn't have necessarily the strongest, most noticeable start, but he ended like a lion.
Rawr.
He ended like a lion. I put a little lion emoji in my note, y'all. I said he ended like a lion. I said, again, not many should be attempting a Steve Perry song, and he slayed it. He slayed Open Arms Down. Like he slayed it down. I said, like it was Stephanie. I wrote it was like it was just another day in the office.
No,
like
it was so
Wednesday.
It was so easy. It was so easy.
He's like, and now I come to you. I said,
so what? Wait, that ain't hard for you? That's not difficult.
Oh,
that's not difficult.
Cheating. I was James cheating. He gave us chest, y'all. That was James singing his falsetto.
Right.
Okay, I can do Steve Perry all day long in my falsetto, but if you do that belt mix, no. I said he slayed Open Arms all the way down. I said, are you kidding me? And then I got to transition, and I'm sure Stephanie's going to talk about this because we talked about this at length before. I said, his last chance was straight worship. I said, he sang Gravity. I said, oh, this is what I wrote, Stephanie. I said, he was like, try Jesus and it will ground you, and he will ground you. Mm-hmm. Oh, come on. Mm-hmm. That's a word right there. Gravity, you all floating around. Try Jesus and he'll ground you.
He'll ground you.
What he said. I said, that's a word. And y'all, I'm going to be honest. Mac, if you watching, I thought this song started and ended. You. I said, nobody can knock Mac Royal off of the throne with Gravity. Nobody. But you know what? You got somebody up there joining you right next to you.
Jan Dan said, hold my communion. No. Jan Dan said, hold my communion cup.
Hold my communion cup. Y'all, what that young man did on the back half of that song, he said, where's my ushers? Where's my nurses? Where's my bishop?
He said, come down to the altar. Come on down to the altar.
He said, what? I said, I can't. I said, Jan Dan, how you going to disrespect a disrespectful song? Like, how you going to disrespect a disrespectful song? In the best way, y'all. In the best way. He was so disrespectful. Stephanie and I were like the way Stephanie's like rocking and moving her hand. That's how we were acting when he sang that. Like, we were like, it was y'all. It was crazy. Jan Dan said, no. Let me just show you. And this is what made him so special. Stephanie, how many singers over the seasons have we watched on this show that were excellent during the taped episodes, but when they got to lives, they were okay.
They was all right.
I'm not saying that they were bad, because
they was all right.
By the time anyone gets to lives, they're not bad.
No, they was all right.
Was like the first that I ever saw, like it was the opposite.
It was the opposite.
He was good. Like, but no. Towards the end of the
Yeah.
that's when he kind of started to pull out.
Yeah. When he did them Dustins the Winds, and I was like,
But
let's
then
go
he was
skirt.
like, I'm just gonna give you a taste.
Okay,
I ain't gonna give it to you until you give me the lies, and I'm gonna let you have
I'm
it.
gonna let you.
You send me home, I'm gonna slay you on my way out. And that's what he did. Nobody slayed like him on the exit. No one.
Nobody.
It's like, he up there with Kike, right?
He up there with Kike.
Like, I was like, and if y'all don't know Kike, y'all check Kike out a few seasons ago when Kike came with The Weeknd. Like,
y'all, I did a reaction to it. Check it out. It's on the channel.
He gave us multiple Weeknd when they got the lies and Kike got COVID and he had to do it by himself. He gave us 2 Weeknd offerings.
Yes.
Okay. The artist, The Weeknd, y'all.
Yes.
Go watch it. But let me tell you, that's why I said Jan Dan all the lies.
All of them.
All in them. All in them. Stephanie, what's your number 3?
So my number 3 is Shye, the Joke by Brandi Carlile. Woo!
Which is my number 2. So
okay, all right.
We will talk about it.
We will volley. This is a grown-up song. Okay? Lyrically, melodically, communication-wise, this is a grown-up song. This chorus is one of the hardest choruses. It's just the way it ramps up and the way that you have to sing it. You can't cheat this chorus. Once you get to the joke, when she's saying the joke, you can't cheat. You can't falsetto it. You can't whisper it. It's got to be full throat up in your upper extension. And the way that Miss Shye was
a teenager.
The way she was able to not only sing the song, the way that she was able to articulate the song, the way that she was able to communicate the song, the way that she was able to deliver the song with PhD level singing. The way that she built out the song with her melodic choices, it felt like there was always an upward progression, but it was almost like a plane. God rest the souls of everybody that was impacted directly or indirectly by the different plane crashes that we've had this past week. God rest the souls, and God bless everybody that was impacted. The way her voice sounded in that song was almost like how you feel during takeoff. It's like you're always going upward, but there's like some dips, right? By the time she got to the end of that story, it just felt like an explosion. And Girlfriend, I don't know if she intended to, but the way that she was shaking her head and the way that her body, like just the way her physical presence was on stage, she was telling the story. Like the joke was on whoever she was talking about in the story that she was playing in her mind. The instrumentation along with her was incredible. And just the vocal melodic choices that she was making, the yodel that she does, just all the really cool artistic melodic choices that she made to personalize this song and make it her own. For the next week after this performance, I would just be going around and randomly, the joke song. Yeah, I'm just out of nowhere, just thinking about her performance. It was incredible.
It really was. And very few times over the Pitchy Podcast's history, Stephanie and I have said that an original artist, needs to hand a song over.
Right.
First time it ever happened, we remember it vividly. It was with Jiminy and Ariana Grande.
Oh, yes.
Where Jiminy sang...
yeah, what that point of view, POV.
And Stephanie and I thought it, so Ariana said it.
Yes.
Ariana said, "Here."
Yep.
Ariana
It's yours.
Grande, y'all. But here is my song. It is yours. Y'all, Brandy. I said, you might have to relinquish this song to Shye.
Not relinquish.
Hand it over. And you, Brandy, you are one of my favorite artists now. Like, I love you. Like, the first time I really got tuned into Brandy Carlisle is when she did a Joni Mitchell tribute on the Kennedy Center Honors. I think I said it to you. I was like, okay, Brandy Carlisle is it, y'all. She's a ridiculous vocalist and artist. I said, you all, I am a trained singer. I can teach voice coaching, vocal coaching, all of that. It doesn't happen too often where I say somebody's voice doesn't need, like, I know everyone can need coaching or training,
right?
But I can't hear anything in Shye's voice where I'm just like, okay, well, you just need more breath here. No. I said, when everything is just technically perfect,
right,
and you're so young, so many teachers want to get a hold of that moldable piece of clay, and a lot of times it'll ruin it.
Right.
They let her just sing and just keep introducing her. A voice like that, it doesn't come around too often. Just keep introducing Shye to new songs,
right,
that she can play.
Right.
That's what you got to do. Like, as a coach, you got to be like, ooh, I have an obscure song from the 1960s or 70s or whatever that you may have never heard of. I'm going to give this song to you. Learn this song and let's coach it through. That's what you need to do with a voice like hers.
Yes.
Okay? So leave it. If it ain't broke, y'all, if it ain't broke.
Yeah.
I wrote, I'm not even sure if she knows how incredible of a natural technician she is.
Right.
That last set of the jokes on me to the outro of that song, I said, if you took one performance, a singular performance of this season, and I wrote this, and this is the only reason why this was not my number one, that won the season for me. That won the season. This one song. If you just take that, if you silo that one song, even though Shye killed it every round.
Yes.
But if you took this one, this was her winning moment of season 20.
Glorious. It was glorious.
To me, this was her final offering to say, this is the best of me.
Right. It was glorious.
Take from it what you may.
Yep.
If we're just talking about this one performance, it was remarkable.
Absolutely.
It was like that again, that end. What she did through the outro, Stephanie, I said. And again, it was like, it was a Thursday.
Right.
It was a Thursday.
Right.
Nothing special.
Just singing.
That's how she always sings. I'm like,
live in a singing competition in front of millions of people.
Right.
Okay.
So that was my two. Shye, the joke, Brandy Carlisle. Whew. So what you got for two?
All right. So my number 2 is Jeremy Beloate. I chose I Who Have Nothing by Tom Jones.
Ah, yes.
Adore you and want to show I'm just a no one with nothing to give you at all. I love you, baby.
Man, that whole performance, and I mean this in the best way, it was a pure spectacle. It was a spectacle. It was just, we are doing performance.
It was element. It was him in his element.
And I mean that in the best way.
Oh, yeah.
Starting off with the white behind him and him coming off to the side. I said,
yeah.
"Oh, we haven't," and like the whole
We said,
thing. We
are we doing that?
that's what we're doing tonight. We giving profile on tonight. We starting profile. Like, this is not a Bond song as far as I understand, but every season we have a song in the lives that feels very Bond. It's big, high production, high vocal,
Drama.
high drama. That's what this felt like. He said, and that guitar said wah 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 wah. I said, I said, oh, that's what we doing on tonight. We doing profile, and then we gonna do a slow turn to the front, and then we gonna walk down the center corridor, and then we gonna be present on the circular stage with the strings stranging as I'm singing and hollering this song to the gods. Okay, that's what we're doing for I Who Have Nothing. And, oh my goodness, it was just a huge spectacle, and I loved every single second of it. He lived up.
I wanted to pick that one, but I had a feeling that you were going to pick it, and you're fine. I didn't know where, and I loved. It's Jeremy, right? It's Jeremy, right? This was Jeremy.
Yes.
I knew one of us was going to talk about it. I said, okay, maybe Stephanie's going to talk about it because I want to talk about his other one, which was probably a little bit more understated. But it's just how remarkable this dude is. Like, just remarkable.
He lived up to the drama, and you have like, this song is drama. You cannot sing this timidly. You can't sing this without a variety of emotion, as you will. Like, if you really listen to the song, there are tender parts, but there a lot of it you just cry. Like, homie is just crying. He is just crying like, I love you. I love you. Nobody is going to love you. I got to stand here and watch you be with this other dude. Watch this other dude shower you with all this stuff, but I'm the one that loves you. And that is what we got. We got the desperation, the intensity, all the energy. And again, y'all, Live. Oh my God, the vocals in this are crazy. They are absolutely ridiculous. Again, he told the story of the song with control. This is a song where you could go out of control because you're probably kind of in the emotion of the wanting so much to be with somebody who's with somebody else. There is almost a loss of mind, a lack of control, but he was very controlled. And again, he gave you that. He gonna give you that falsetto surprise at the end, like
always.
Followed by more holleration. It was our Bond moment of the season, and there was a song that Danny did. He did the Back to Black that felt kind of Bond as well. But for me, this was the moment, and for me, this was one of Jeremy's best performances of the season.
I don't wish like ill experiences on anyone, but
okay,
if you're not a singer, you have to understand that sometimes life experiences like are because we're the only instrument that's internal.
Absolutely.
Like, period. Like, of all instruments, the voice is the only instrument that is inside of a body.
That's right. Yeah.
So every life experience, Jeremy has lost the majority of, he's lost every male in his family to drugs.
Yeah.
Like his dad, his brothers. I mean, like, it's, and all of that, all of the pain, all of the joy, every emotion goes into someone's voice.
Yes.
Whether they like it or not. Stephanie will tell you. Whether they like it or not.
Whether you like it or not.
You're gonna hear everything.
That's right.
And that's what I loved about Jeremy so much, is that he took his tragedy and he's like, oh, hello, tragedy. All right. We're going to moonlight for a second. No, we're not going to moonlight. I'm going to invite you in, and I'm going to treat you. I'm going to treat you as if I were to treat Triumph.
That's right. He turned his tragedy into victory.
Think about it, y'all. I'm getting deep. Imagine if we treated, oh, that's a word. Thank you, Lord. Imagine if we treated our tragedy as we treat our triumph.
Come on.
With the
Preach.
same respect. Because you got to respect both.
You have to respect both. Absolutely.
Y'all getting deep, but hey, it just sometimes it just gets downloaded. All right, and that's what Jeremy did. Just ridiculous. Whew. And Broadway, I better never see him in a course. I better never see him. He is a leading person on Broadway. Okay, I better never see him in the background. You can't hold that voice down. Sorry.
So I better never see him in the
course, and I still stick out. Okay.
I
better never see Jeremy in the course.
I know that's right.
All right. So we are now down to number 1, and I'm interested to see what song you picked. Hopefully, it's the same song that I picked.
It's not.
Well, then it's not.
It's not.
Then wait a second. Oh, then our number 1s may not be the same.
They are not.
Now I get why you said what you said. My number 1 is Sofronio Vasquez, Unstoppable. See it.
I'm so confident. I'm unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today.
I say, y'all, if you go back and watch this, Sofronio gave a look like off to the side like this, right? When he says the word, I'm unstoppable.
Yep.
And
game over.
Like, well,
game over.
That's it.
Game over.
That's it. I said, what I love, what I write? I said, what I love about him is that Sofronio really made it about the voice.
Yes,
was
he did.
Sofronio jumping around the stage? Was he doing all these? And there's nothing wrong with that. There are some artists who have the talent for that and they can sing it down too. But Sofronio, he hit his marks, right? But it was just pure, unadulterated, uninterrupted singing down.
Yes.
I said, not a lot of running back and forth on the stage, just flat foot singing his face off, flat footed singing his face off. I said, after this performance, I was like, okay, this is Sofronio's final offering and the competition's over. Because if you look at the body of work that this man had brought to us or given us or presented to us, it was just from the start, he was the best, to the end, he was the best. And everything in between, even on some whack songs. And I shouldn't say that for the Patreon, but sometimes he had whack songs. But what did he do? That's a true artist, Stephanie, as you always say.
That's right. That's right.
We know that they're not always given like a choice, right?
Yes. So
some of those songs we were like, he ain't choose that. If this man offered "I'm Going Down" as his first song, I know he didn't choose.
I know he didn't choose.
Because look, and I said, and the snappage that happened on the back half of that song, I said he snapped. And don't let a voice like Sofronio snap, because no one's going to be survived.
Nobody's going to survive.
I said he's simply the best. I said from start to finish, he was unstoppable.
Amen.
And that is why that is my number 1, Sofronio Vasquez, Unstoppable. See, every time I sing that song, I want to sing Chandelier because they're so similar.
They are similar.
You do a mashup of Unstoppable and Chandelier, like
yes.
1, 2, 3. Unstoppable. Do it.
That would be cool.
We love you, Shye. We do.
Yes.
What's your number 1, Steph?
So I was banking on the fact that you were going to put Sofronio somewhere on your list. So that kind of freed me up to do what I to do what I wanted to do.
You know me all so well, Stephanie.
To do what I wanted to do. So my number one is Jan Dan Gravity John Mayer.
Yes, ma'am.
So how can that be? Just keep me where the light is. Just keep me where the light is. Said keep me where the light is.
Yes, ma'am. That's why I had to cheat.
That's my number one.
That's why I had to cheat.
And half
but
of
you
me
appreciate the cheat. Stephanie's a rule follower, but when the cheat is justified, it'll be acceptable.
And I've cheated before too. I've cheated before, but this time around, I just didn't think to do that. And half of me wishes that I did, but half of me is glad that I didn't, because this was indeed my number one live of the competition for season 26, point blank period. All of the other songs were incredible, amazing, high quality vocal. But for me and my soul and my spirit,
this is already your song. This is already your song. And that's the thing. It's already your song.
And this version only enhanced the brilliance of the song, point blank period. It made me respect John Mayer that much more. Hearing the bones of this song, hearing the lyrics of this song, hearing then what it could be, how it was transformed by Paul and the band and Jan Dan, and what they chose to do it, and what was already ever present in this song, which was that gospel inflection of it. Okay. It was always there. What's interesting about this particular performance, and it being my number one, is that it was shorter than all the other songs because it was an instant save.
2 minutes.
It was only 2 minutes. All the other songs in lives were about three minutes. This song was only about 2.
This is like the early rounds of the show, right? Like
yes, in length.
Like
yes,
90 seconds, right?
Yes, and that's how much impact it made for me. So before Jan Dan ever said a word, the instrumental started, and he started with woos and yes, woo, yeah. I said, oh. And knowing the song, because of course Carson said what the song he was going to do was, when the man started with the woos and the yes, I said, he ain't came to mess with y'all. He said, if I'm going to be in this instant save, I'm going to do this instant save how I'm going to do this instant save. And boy, did he ever. Every choice was intentional. Every inflection was intentional. The gospel gravity that we got was very intentional. Very. And much respect to him, because much as just in the way that I made my list and I did it how I wanted to do it, that's how Jan Dan did Gravity. He said, I'm going to do it how I want to do it. And how he wanted to do it was he wanted to make it a gospel/spiritual version. So much respect.
There's a colloquialism in the urban culture that when somebody is really singing something, like really, really singing something, we say, he was singing like his rent was due.
Oh, he ain't had
like he got his 30-day eviction notice, and it was the last day.
It was the last day. This was it.
He was singing for his rent money.
Jesus had to make a personal deposit in that bank account for him to not lose his home. That's how it felt.
He sang like his rent was due.
And guess who else was rent must have been due? That band. Because shout out to whoever was on.
As far as I'm concerned, they're always broke.
Oh, they're always You got that right. They are always broke.
broke.
The way they playing, they ain't got a penny to their name. They are,
especially on songs that you know they really love to play.
you can tell they hit different.
Because the drummer gets happy.
Ooh, shout out to the person that was on the organ. Oh, the organ. That person is churched. I know that.
I know it was Paul because he's on keys, so you know he's on the organ too.
Well, he might not have been. Who knows? Well, all I know is that person knew how to accompany somebody who was singing a gospel song down, and that is exactly what the organist did. Shout out to you. So Dan did.
Let us know who was on organ.
Who was on organ, because they did a wonderful job accompanying you, sir. The sneaky runs. There were so many sneaky runs. That man sang the song from his soul. Oh my goodness. By the back end, we got stomp clap at the end. And then what literally made me go, James alluded to it. This man took the time to say within this song, if you ever felt held down by the world, try Jesus.
He sure did.
Okay, for those of you that may be new here, James and I are unapologetically Jesus followers. I myself do not call myself a Christian anymore because there are too many people calling themselves Christians who ain't acting like the Jesus that I know. So I am, and James is, a Jesus follower. And we respect those of you who are not. We love you.
Because we come in love.
And that's why we say that first. Okay?
Always.
Okay.
With everyone.
With everyone. But the fact that he would say the name of Jesus on that stage unapologetically ministered to me so much and touched me so much that he would be that bold to not be afraid to say the name of Jesus on that stage.
Understated.
He didn't, yeah.
It's like he didn't sneak it in, but he did because that's Dan's personality. He's not going to give you big bombastic, right?
Right.
He's just going to be why don't you try him?
Right. Try Jesus. Just
try him.
Just try him. And I agree with everything that's going on in this world right now. Try him. And if you don't know what we're talking about, hit us up in the DMs, hit us up in the comments. We will share him with you.
Always.
At the end of that song, after he said that, he might as well have been saying hallelujah at the end of it. The way that he it was such a moment. And it was so, at this point, it wasn't shocking because we had gotten a couple of really incredible performances from Jandan where we got to see more of who he was. So this wasn't exactly a vocal shock, but the fact that man took gravity, and just to make this point clear of what I was saying about John Mayer, the gospel inflections added to this song were not so shocking. If you hear the song in its original form, you almost hear that it's there. Like you might call it blues. It might be more blues leaning, but all you need is a little tingles from that organ to make it a straight stomp, clap. Like
that 1, 2, 3.
Ooh. And I think that's why I always loved this song, because that feeling was always an undertone or an undercurrent. Always. And then just hearing John Mayer's incredible voice with it was just magic. The original version in and of itself is magic. It's really magic.
And then Royal came with it.
And then Mac.
I'm just like, y'all can't.
And now Jandan. Yes. And now Jandan. So
it's crazy.
Okay.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right. So, Stephanie, tell everybody what they need to hear.
Okay, so don't forget to follow and subscribe on the Pitchy Podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you can be the first to know when we drop a new episode. And while you're there, please remember to rate and review the show so more people can find us. Also, if you are listening to the podcast, go head over to YouTube so that you can see us. Search for The Pitchy Podcast, hit that subscribe button so you know when we drop a new video. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Pitchy Podcast for new episode alerts, episode clips, and so much more. Lastly, as we've been saying, we are on Patreon. There will be information on our IG page, information in the show notes, in the comments below, and right on your screen here. What I want you to know about Patreon, though, is if you choose to follow us, make sure that you do that on your internet browser and not within the Patreon app, because the app is having us charge 30% more for your subscription, and we do not want to do that. So please go ahead to your internet browser, your Chrome or whatever, Safari, whatever browser you use, and go ahead and join us there for $5. And we will have content like you can watch a part of an episode along with me and get my initial reactions. You will get the full episode in early along with bonus content with each episode and so much more. Only $5, but make sure that you join us on your internet browser and not within your Patreon app.
Listen to Teach, y'all. Listen to Teach.
I'm trying to save y'all money.
All right, you all. So we will see you soon with the new season of The Voice. Adam's back.
Yes.
John's back. And we have a new judge. And we'll see you all on the flip side.
And Michael. And Michael.
Oh, Michael. Well, Michael's back. Yes.
Yes.
Michael. But we have a new judge who I know.
Miss Kelsey Ballerini.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe she's coached before.
She's guest coached.
Didn't she step in for Kelly once?
Stepped in for Kelly. Yes, she did.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So we'll see you all soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.